Silent watchers. Commander Elena Reyes gazed through the viewport of Outpost Sentinel, her eyes fixed on the stars beyond. The small station orbited Proxima Centauri, humanity's first extrasolar colony. To any outside observer, the outpost appeared modest, a collection of interconnected modules with minimal defensive capabilities, broadcasting simple communication signals that suggested a species just beginning to venture beyond their home system. This was precisely the image Earth's Strategic Command wanted to project. "Commander," Lieutenant Kwan's voice broke through her thoughts. "We've detected multiple vessels entering the system. Configuration unknown, but they're big, really big." Elena straightened, her expression unchanged. "How many?" 17 ships, Commander. Largest one is approximately 3 kilometers in length." She nodded, unsurprised. Intelligence had warned this might happen. For decades, humanity had monitored transmissions from deep space, learning about the various species that populated the galaxy. They had studied, observed, and prepared, all while presenting a carefully crafted image of technological inferiority. "Tactical assessment?" she asked. Lieutenant Kwan's fingers flew across the holographic interface. "Energy signatures suggest weapon systems far more advanced than what we're supposed to have. Their approach vector indicates confidence. They're not trying to conceal their presence. They don't think they need to," Elena replied. "Contact Earth Command. Code Prometheus." The alien fleet advanced with precision, their sleek vessels resembling predatory sea creatures, all sharp angles and gleaming metal. The lead ship dwarfed the others, a massive command vessel bristling with what appeared to be weapon systems. The fleet surrounded the small human outpost, positioned to obliterate it at a moment's notice. "They're hailing us, Commander," Communications Officer Chen announced. "Let's meet our new neighbors," Elena said, her calm demeanor betraying none of the tension that gripped the command center. The view screen flickered to life, revealing a tall, humanoid figure with iridescent blue skin and 6 eyes arranged in a symmetrical pattern across a broad face. Heavy bone ridges formed a natural crown above those eyes. When it spoke, needle-like teeth flashed behind thin lips. "I am Supreme Commander Vexlar of the Kildarian Empire," the alien announced, its voice translated through the station's systems. "Your species has been assessed and categorized as a Class 3 civilization, technologically capable of interstellar travel, but lacking significant defensive capabilities. Your colony and homeworld now fall under Kildarian protection and governance." Elena allowed a moment of silence before responding. "This is Commander Elena Reyes of Earth's Proxima Centauri outpost. We're unfamiliar with your empire and your classifications, but we're not interested in becoming a protectorate." Vexlar's 6 eyes blinked in sequence, a gesture of amusement. "Your interest is irrelevant, Commander. The Kildarian Empire has subjugated 17 species more advanced than yours. Your outpost scans reveal outdated propulsion systems and minimal weapons capabilities. Your transmissions suggest a fractured planetary government still engaged in internal conflicts." "You seem very confident in your intelligence," Elena replied evenly. "We have monitored your broadcasts for decades. We know of your United Nations, your regional conflicts, your primitive nuclear weapons. Surrender your outpost now, and we will ensure a painless transition for your colony and homeworld." Elena glanced at Lieutenant Kwan, who nodded subtly. Earth Command had received their message. The response was already in motion. "Supreme Commander Vexlar," Elena said, straightening to her full height, "I believe there's been a misunderstanding. The broadcasts you've monitored were exactly what we wanted potential hostiles to see." For the first time, uncertainty crossed the alien commander's features. "Explain." "Humanity united under a single government 2 centuries ago. We resolved our internal conflicts and advanced our technology exponentially. But we learned from history that when a species advertises its capabilities, it often attracts unwanted attention." "You lie," Vexlar hissed. "Our scans detect exactly what we want them to detect," Elena interrupted. This outpost is not what it appears to be. As if on cue, the seemingly simple outpost began to transform. Panels that had appeared to be standard hull plating reconfigured, revealing advanced weapon systems. What had looked like maintenance drones around the station suddenly changed formation, their holographic camouflage dissolving to reveal sleek combat vessels. Throughout the system, previously undetectable platforms decloaked, surrounding the Kildarian fleet. "What deception is this?" Vexlar demanded, his confident demeanor cracking. "Not deception. Strategy," Elena corrected. "Humanity learned long ago that appearing weak while being strong provides a significant advantage. We've studied every species that's made contact with others. We've observed, learned, and prepared. Impossible. Your species has barely left your home system." Elena smiled. "That's what we wanted you to think. In reality, we've established colonies in 7 systems. We've developed technologies that your sensors can't even detect. And we've prepared countermeasures for every known weapon system and tactical doctrine." On the view screen, Vexlar conferred urgently with his officers, their body language conveying confusion and alarm. Elena knew what they were seeing, their scans suddenly revealing layers of technology they hadn't detected before, energy signatures that defied their understanding. "Commander," Lieutenant Quan announced, "Earth Defense Fleet has arrived." From the edge of the system, spatial distortions formed as dozens of human vessels emerged from what the Kildarians would later learn were controlled dimensional apertures. Technology the Kildarian Empire had theorized, but never mastered. "Supreme Commander," Elena said, "I suggest you reconsider your position. You've violated sovereign human territory. Under normal circumstances, this would be considered an act of war." Vexlar's composure had completely dissolved. This changes nothing. The Kildarian Empire doesn't retreat. Your deception only delays the inevitable." Before Elena could respond, one of the smaller Kildarian vessels fired upon the outpost. The energy beam, powerful enough to destroy the station as they had initially perceived it, was absorbed by an invisible barrier, the attack's energy dispersing harmlessly. That, Elena said, her voice hardening, was a mistake. With a simple gesture, she gave the order. Targeted electromagnetic pulses from Earth's vessels disabled the weapon systems of 3 Kildarian ships before they could raise their shields. Precision strikes from the stations revealed defense systems immobilized 2 more. Within moments, 5 of the 17 Kildarian vessels were neutralized without a single casualty. "This is your only warning," Elena stated. "Withdraw from this system immediately, or we will be forced to respond more decisively." On the view screen, Vexlar's 6 eyes darted between displays showing the disabled ships. For the first time in his long military career, the Supreme Commander faced a species that had completely outmaneuvered the mighty Kildarian Empire. This is not over," he growled. "The full might of the Empire will return, and you will regret this defiance." "We'll be waiting," Elena replied calmly. The Kildarian fleet regrouped, recovered their disabled vessels with tractor beams, and retreated from the system. As they disappeared into faster-than-light travel, Elena turned to her command staff. "Contact Earth Command. Tell them we've made first contact with the Kildarians, and as predicted, they've chosen the path of hostility." She paused, gazing out at the stars where the alien fleet had vanished, and informed Dr. Wei that it's time to activate Project Prometheus fully. Lieutenant Quan nodded, his expression grim. "They'll be back with reinforcements." "Yes," Elena agreed. "They will. And when they return, they'll learn exactly why picking a fight with humanity was their biggest mistake." Calculated response. Supreme Commander Vexlar stood before the Imperial War Council, his posture rigid with humiliation. The circular chamber towered above him, tier upon tier of the Kildarian elite looking down upon his failure. "You retreated," High Marshal Kragorn stated, his voice echoing through the chamber. "From a species that has barely established a presence beyond their home system. The humans concealed their true capabilities," Vexlar responded, struggling to maintain composure. Their technological level is far beyond what our intelligence suggested. They employed cloaking technologies that our sensors couldn't detect and weapons systems that neutralized 5 of our vessels without destroying them. Murmurs rippled through the council chamber. In the Kildarian Empire's 1,000-year history of expansion, they had never encountered a species that had so thoroughly deceived them about their capabilities. "This changes nothing," Craighorn declared. "No species defies the Empire and survives. You will return with the 3rd Imperial Fleet, 200 vessels, our most advanced weapons. You will crush this human resistance and bring their leaders before the Emperor in chains." Vexlar bowed his head, both relieved to be given a chance at redemption and troubled by the lingering memory of Commander Reyes' confidence. "It will be done, High Marshal." Across the galaxy, Dr. Marcus Way stood in the heart of Earth's Defense Command, a vast underground complex beneath the Pacific Ocean. Holographic displays surrounded him, showing real-time data from observation posts scattered throughout human-controlled space. A small, unassuming man with prematurely white hair, Dr. Way was humanity's foremost expert on xenotechnology and the architect of Project Prometheus. "They're gathering their fleet," he noted, watching the Kildarian movements through quantum-entangled observation platforms, undetectable devices that humanity had placed near major alien worlds years before. 200 ships, including 3 dreadnoughts. Admiral Helena Chandra, Supreme Commander of Earth's Defense Forces, studied the displays with experienced eyes. Timeline for their arrival: approximately 3 Earth days. They'll converge at Proxima Centauri, assuming that's our only extrasolar presence. And the Prometheus countermeasures. Dr. Way allowed himself a small smile. Ready for deployment. The Kildarians use a standardized propulsion system across their fleet, a plasma quantum matrix engine. Efficient, powerful, but with one critical vulnerability that our analysis discovered. "Will it stop them completely?" the Admiral asked. "No," Way admitted, "but it will create confusion, disable approximately 30% of their fleet, and provide us with the tactical advantage we need." Admiral Chandra nodded. Commander Reyes handled first contact exactly as planned. "Now we move to Phase 2. She turned to her communications officer. "Signal all defense platforms and colonies. Operation Phalanx is now active." 3 days later, the Kildarian Armada arrived at Proxima Centauri, emerging from faster-than-light travel in perfect formation, a wall of overwhelming force designed to shock and awe. Supreme Commander Vexlar stood on his bridge, mandibles tight with anticipation. "Locate the human outpost," he ordered. His tactical officer worked the controls, confusion spreading across his features. "Commander, I'm detecting multiple human installations throughout the system. They weren't there before." "Impossible," Vexlar hissed. "Scan again." "Confirmed, Supreme Commander. There are 7 orbital platforms, 3 planetary installations, and—" the officer paused, "a fleet of 64 vessels approaching from the outer system." Vexlar felt a cold dread creeping through his exoskeleton. Something was wrong. The humans had known they would return in force. They had prepared. Hailing the Kildarian fleet, the communications officer announced, "It's the same human commander." Helena Reyes appeared on the view screen, her expression as calm as before, despite now facing a fleet more than 10 times larger than the previous encounter. "Supreme Commander Vexlar," she greeted him. "I see you've brought friends." "Your deception ends today, Commander," Vexlar snarled. "Your species will submit to the Empire, or we will reduce your colonies to ash." Helena's expression hardened. "We gave you an opportunity to reconsider your aggression. You chose war instead. Remember that." The transmission ended abruptly. Vexlar turned to his weapons officer. "Target their primary vessels and—" He never finished the order. Throughout the Kildarian fleet, ships suddenly lost power, their engines shutting down simultaneously. Emergency systems activated, but propulsion remained offline. 67 vessels, exactly 1/3 of the mighty Armada, drifted helplessly. "What's happening?" Vexlar demanded. "Our engines are being targeted by some kind of selective electromagnetic pulse," his chief engineer reported, panic evident in his voice. "But it's like nothing we've encountered before. It's specifically disrupting our propulsion matrices while leaving other systems intact." Before Vexlar could process this information, the human fleet accelerated toward them, moving with impossible precision. They weren't attacking indiscriminately. Instead, they targeted specific Kildarian vessels with surgical strikes, disabling weapon systems without destroying the ships. "They're toying with us," Vexlar realized aloud. From the outer reaches of the system, a new vessel appeared, larger than any human ship they had yet seen. Unlike the sleek, aggressive designs of human military vessels, this ship was spherical, its surface seemingly absorbing light rather than reflecting it. "Supreme Commander," his tactical officer called out, voice shaking. "That vessel is generating energy readings off our measurement scales." The mysterious ship approached slowly, deliberately, as if its very presence was meant to convey a message. The human fleet parted before it, forming an honor guard. Commander Rice hailed them again. "Supreme Commander, allow me to introduce you to Dr. Marcus Way, architect of Project Prometheus." The view screen split, showing both Rice and an unassuming human male with white hair and gentle eyes that belied the power at his command. "The Kildarian Empire has conquered 17 species," Dr. Way began, his voice soft yet carrying undeniable authority. "You did so through superior technology and the element of surprise. Today, you face a species that surpassed your technological level centuries ago, but chose to hide that fact." "Impossible," Vexlar whispered. "The ship you see before you," Way continued, "houses a dimensional displacement device. With it, we can selectively remove objects, or entire vessels, from normal spacetime, transferring them to a parallel dimension from which there is no return." As if to demonstrate, the spherical vessel emitted a pulse of energy that was both visible and invisible simultaneously, bending light around it. 3 disabled Kildarian cruisers simply vanished, leaving no debris, no energy signature, nothing to indicate they had ever existed. "This is your final warning," Dr. Way stated. "The Kildarian Empire will withdraw from human space. You will acknowledge our sovereignty and our right to exist free from your protection. You will inform other species that humanity is not to be threatened or provoked." Vexlar stood frozen, his 6 eyes fixed on the empty space where 3 warships and over 2,000 Kildarian soldiers had been. In that moment, he understood the full magnitude of their mistake. The Kildarian Empire hadn't discovered a new species to subjugate. They had awakened a slumbering giant that had been watching the galaxy, learning, preparing, and waiting. "What guarantee do we have that you won't use this technology against the Empire?" he asked, his voice hollow. Commander Rice answered, "We have no interest in conquest, Supreme Commander. Humanity expanded slowly and cautiously for a reason. We've observed how empires rise and fall. We prefer cooperation to domination." "But make no mistake," Dr. Way added, his gentle voice carrying an unmistakable edge. "If threatened, we will defend ourselves with every capability at our disposal. The choice is yours: peaceful coexistence or mutually assured destruction." The decision was already made. Vexlar knew the Empire could not risk a war with a species possessing such technology. "I will convey your terms to the Imperial Council," he conceded. As the crippled Kildarian fleet limped away from Proxima Centauri, Vexlar stared at the tactical display showing the human sphere of influence, not just the single colony he had initially targeted, but 7 fully developed star systems, each protected by technology beyond the Empire's comprehension. "Record this in the Imperial Archives," he told his second-in-command. "The humans are not to be engaged militarily under any circumstances. Classification: Omega-level civilization. Approach with diplomatic measures only." His aide looked confused. But Supreme Commander, no species has ever been given Omega classification. No species has ever deserved it. Vexler replied, until now. Back on Earth, Dr. Wei and Admiral Chandra watched the Kildarian retreat from Central Command. Do you think they've learned their lesson? The Admiral asked. Dr. Wei considered the question. The Kildarians. Yes. But there are other empires out there, other species who might make the same mistake. Then we'll be ready for them too, Chandra stated with quiet confidence. Yes, Wei agreed, turning his gaze to a holographic display of the galaxy. Countless stars, countless worlds, countless potential threats and allies. That's the thing about humanity that other species fail to understand. We hope for peace, prepare for war, and learn from every encounter. Anyone who picks a fight with humans is making a fundamental error in judgment. They're declaring war on the wrong species, Admiral Chandra concluded with a grim smile. Dr. Wei nodded. Exactly. And that mistake will cost them dearly.